And what I'm looking for here are potentially any areas of bruising that could explain particular pain in this area. And what I can feel already is that this whole area, particularly on the right side here, is actually quite warm to the touch. And that tells me that there are some issues in this area here. There's another bit of tension here. I think this is just a build-up as we get nearer to this shoulder. Right, this whole area here is popping away. It's forming a line along your back, and that's a build-up towards this shoulder area here. So I can understand why you've got that, and it does feel incredibly warm around here. Right, hello Melissa. Thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to work on what will essentially be a back massage, but we're going to really focus on areas of tension. As a part of our consultation, we've identified that you are really suffering with tension areas around the back area and particularly around the neck and shoulder area. So what I'd like to do is just put an added dimension into this to really help us focus on those areas. I really need to identify where they are. So what I'm going to do is mark those areas using some highlighters, and that will really allow me to focus on the areas that need working. And once we've identified those, I can really focus on those as part of an adapted massage, really adapted for your needs at the moment. So one of the things I'm really looking for in the initial stages of this massage is areas that feel tense along the back here, and in particular along the shoulders. And when you try and identify where these are, you will find that they feel like crystals. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just give the back a little bit of an inspection. So visually now, and then I'm going to use the magnifying glass just to check to see if I can see any contraindications, particularly as you've mentioned, you've got a lot of tension at the moment. So I just want to see if there's anything else that might be causing that I can visually see. And once I've done this, I will just, as I said, use the magnifying glass. So I'm going to get that now. And I'm just going to start at the neck area here and just check, particularly around this area. And what I'm looking for here are potentially any areas of bruising that could explain particular pain in this area, or any marks on the skin that could be causing any sort of pain. I can't see anything obvious at the moment. There's a slight red marking, erythema here, but that could simply be from washing or drying. Slight scratch mark there, but that's can simply be where you've removed clothes or something like that. Maybe caught with your nail, but it's not open and it's not really red. going to go up slightly into the hairline as well. No, that's all absolutely fine. So what I'm going to move on to do is look at diagnosing where these tense areas are. So I'll do that by touch first, just to get some idea of where they're located. And if you're wondering what I'm looking for, it's particularly areas that are either sensitive and the client might react as you touch them, or when you're massaging, what you're looking for are areas that feel almost like crystals when you're massaging that area, or they could be feeling like grains of sand or knots that sometimes pop when you massage. And that's areas that are areas of tension, and that could be or bumps in the tissue or in the muscle area, often resulting from a buildup of lactic acid. And that really tenses the area up. And if you've got quite a few of those areas, and I suspect that there'll be a few around this area, if you've got quite a few, that can build up tension and make that whole area quite painful, with muscle aches and pains. And actually massaging out those areas can really make a difference and take down that tenseness and reduce overall stress levels as well. Because if you're worried about what's causing that tenseness and pain, that can bring on stress. So I'm just going to do a back stretch to start with, just so that my hands and arms get familiar with the back area, and it helps to relax everybody as well. And what I can feel already is that this whole area, particularly on the right side here, is actually quite warm to the touch. And that tells me that there are some issues in this area here. So what I'm going to do now is do a little bit more of a deeper diagnostic stretch. And as we move around, I'm going to mark some of these areas. So we've got some tenseness down here as well. Right, so I can already feel that there is some tenseness in this area here. So we'll mark that up and then note that to come back to. And then we're going to keep moving up. There's another bit of tension here. I think this is just a build-up as we get nearer to the shoulder. Be interesting to see if we have the same on the other side. Right, this whole area, you can feel it's very gritty. I'm going to go slightly inwards around the scapular area here. Right, this whole area here is popping away. large area there to work on, and I can see that that is why you're having problems here. And then I'm going to move up into actually the neck area as well. Just along that area there. Funny enough, your shoulder area here seems okay. It seems like it is this area. So it could be where you're typing, possibly when you're sat at the PC, because it's forming a line along your back, and that's a build up towards this shoulder area here. So I can understand why you've got that, and it does feel incredibly warm around here. So I'm going to try and see if that is similar on the other side. So what I'm going to do is just check on the other side. And that is absolutely fine. So I do think this is very much a right-sided tension build-up. That's a little bit here. And actually, funny enough, you've got some erythema coming up here. Actually, I'm going to mark those, because although I haven't felt anything, it could be that they're deeper in there. That's good, because it means the blood's circulating, but might be worth just picking up on that. Okay. Another one just there. But that is only a very small bit. And a little bit there on your neck as well. It's in the same area. So that is quite interesting, because it's very much on the right side with just a few points on the left side there. So really this allows me to identify that the best way of doing the massage is doing a gentle massage overall, but really focusing the deep massage in and around these areas here. Right, so I'm going to do a gentle back massage routine, but where we've got these marked areas, I'm just going to come out of the normal routine and just do a little bit more in depth. So let's just do the normal body massage routine for the back. But I'm actually finding this a really interesting way of helping to identify where those areas are that you really need to work on. Then what I'm going to do is just do some quite deep massages to that area, and the marking will hopefully come off as I'm doing it. I've got a cloth to take it off at the end. Really pushing in quite deeply into this area here. where I've marked that. Spend a little bit of time on that area. That should really help to relieve that. Not forgetting that we need to work the rest of it as well. So when we do some vigorous work, then we need to do some calming moves as well. Right, so I'm just going to massage these areas here, and I can feel that popping under my thumbs. So that should really help on this side to clear that totally. And then on this side, I want to do something a little bit more just to ease that off. And that's good because we're getting some erythema there as well. Okay. Just going to massage this bit here. There we go. And then we're getting to this concentrated area where there's quite a lot of pain and tension. So we're going to really work this whole area. If I could ask you just to pop your hand up slightly. Yeah, thank you. So I just want to avoid getting into that bone area, but you can see there's almost a pattern here. It's going right along. And then what I'm going to do, although there wasn't really any sign of tension in the top of the shoulders, if I pop that back down, I am going to massage just this bit on the top of the shoulder here. And I'll do the same on the other side as well. Just locate these tense areas here. And then we'll just massage this whole area. Just going into the base of the neck here to just relieve those two areas there that we identified as well. It's really helpful to have these markings actually, because it's really got right into where you can feel these grains of sand. And they're slowly clearing, which is wonderful. Right, let's get some gentle moves down here. Now, we haven't been able to use oils because obviously we're marking those areas. But what you could do as an alternative is you could do the markings, memorise those visually, and then blend an oil that will help you. I would suggest for muscular aches and pains, something like a carrier oil would be sweet almond oil, because that's always good for muscular aches and pains, a nice calming barrier oil. And then if you wanted to add some essential oils, just like 1 drop of each, you would use something like eucalyptus, rosemary, ylang ylang. That's a good mixture, especially with that carrier oil. As long as you visually noted where the markings were, and you would concentrate that oil and the massage in those areas. Right, so that brings us to the end of a slightly adapted back massage based on the consultation that you've had with your client, focusing on the particular areas that we highlighted with those markings, so that they get a massage that is really individualised to their need at that particular time. And in this instance, we could see that the majority of those markings were leading from the right side at the bottom into this shoulder area, which we've given a thorough massage to, and that should really help. But I suspect that this is the result of seating poorly, so you need to look maybe at that, and then take considerable breaks. Remember, you should be taking sort of 10 minutes out of every hour if you're focusing on PC usage. And I suspect that that's what's caused this, but hopefully just working that area in particular will have given enough relief to allow that area to not feel so tense and decrease stress levels overall. So one last effleurage set, and then I think we will leave the back to heal.